So now let's get into some Drag Race news. I need to clear the palate of all that mess that I just had to talk about. I just feel dirty after that. Let's get into some Drag Race news and let's talk about, we got an update on this whole situation. So y'all already know Mistress and Willem clearly don't like each other, and that's fine. Everybody's not going to be required to like each other out in these good old streets, these good old Drag Race streets. But in addition to Willem and Mistress fighting, and Willem bringing up things about Mistress behind the scenes of how she works with other queens and works in other venues and this, that, and the other, I guess Mistress was feeling away because she felt like Willem was coming over here and trying to sabotage her livelihood, because you out here telling things that allegedly you had heard through the grapevine from other queens behind the scenes when it's not your experience, but that's between them. So with all of that being said, the Bettys, Acid and Daya, wound up jumping in on the line. And Acid Betty, as we talked about in the previous story, she posted a picture of Willem in blackface and said, "Not Acid Betty being the only drag queen with the balls to acknowledge Willem's disgusting actions. I knew I could count on her." That's what one person said. And she said, "At Mistress Isabel Brooks told the tea on Willem. Everything she said about that clout chaser was so true. The only Alaska 5000 saying silent is liberal gold." Then we had this situation that came up because I was like, oh, I got to bring this to y'all. So then Diabetica went and posted this on her page. Hold on, let me take that out. I don't know if y'all can read it because it's real little. But hold on, because I actually do have it where I can read it. So yeah, so she said, "Is there a reason at Willem and the only Alaska 5000 haven't reached out to Acid Betty yet? Where is the apology, let alone a simple conversation in general? They were so quick to have Shakrala on, I think that's how you say her name, or their name, on their pod to discuss his side of the paper dress in which he made and didn't get paid for, which was manufactured to make him look like a victim, which in return caused my sister to get tons of unnecessary hate and trolling comments. Now that at Acid Betty has shared her side of the story on the Petty Betty podcast, it has been silence from them. Seems like they are just feeding into the drama at others' expense. Do better. Practice what you preach." So there was a whole situation that was going around, and the fact that they invited a designer on the show, there was a paper dress situation that went on, and it was going on during when All Stars 10 was on, and felt like Alaska has kind of been radio silent in a lot of the drama that's been going on. And I always felt like, you know what, maybe she doesn't need to assert herself in things that don't have anything to do with her. So it was like, oh, I'm gonna just mind the business that pays me, which I totally understand that. Like, I'm not going to jump in. But then again, but then I feel, if you're going to do a show where it's you and Willem, and you're going to have somebody on that spills tea about somebody else, then it is a part of it is, damn, I can't even speak. You should do your due diligence to apologize or just speak up on a situation and not just be silent while Willem is taking all the situation. And I'm sure Willem is a big girl. She can handle herself amongst all the hate that she's getting, not only from some of the fandom, but MIB and the Bettys. But yeah, Alaska, you was in on this too. You were, in a way, you were seen as a co-conspirator, and you should have spoke up on it. So with all that being said, she finally did speak out, because I guess she felt like, you want to know something? Y'all are right. I'm with you when you're right. So she actually did come out and speak out. I got the video courtesy of Reddit. Shout out to y'all. Where they had the recent episode of, hold on, the Race Chaser podcast. And she came out and spoke out. We're going to play that video and then we're going to come back and talk. Please hold.
I want to officially take a moment to apologize to Acid Betty. Listen, things have gotten out of hand. Untruths were told. Honestly, I'm an acting producer on this podcast and this network. We never should have had one person's side of the story on without having the other person's story. I apologize. I really hope that we can move on from this. If the dress wasn't burned up, I think it should be put in the Smithsonian. Thank you for being patient with us, everyone. And you know what? We're sorry. Period.
This was not something I should have tried to transvestigate. We have Luscious Massacre for that.
Her rates are fair.
It wasn't like I was relishing the chance to take somebody down, but I was trying to bring clarity to a situation which was none of my business. Two people had a dispute. One of them wanted me to get in the middle of it. I got in the middle of it. It's caused you pain. It's caused me stress. And it didn't make anybody look good in the end.
So the next time anyone has a grievance or a personal problem and wants to come on our podcast, I'm sorry, we are not available.
All right. Well, look, I just feel like you can have people on because, I mean, I've interviewed people and stuff before. You can have people on to tell their side of the story. But my thing is this, if you're going to have somebody on and tell their side, then you need to provide a space where you have Acid come on and tell her side of the story. And after that, you leave it up to the fandom to make whatever, to decide on what they want to decide on. I shouldn't have to be able to wait until I'm on my own podcast, The Betties, to be able to defend myself on some stuff that fans are just seeing one-sided situation. And then what they do is, instead of just watching what happened and minding the business that pays them, they go on social media and start spewing a whole bunch of hate towards other queens. And that's not y'all place to be doing that, especially when you don't know what happened or what was transpiring. I like Acid Betty. Acid Betty is one of the good ones from the New York club scene. So her getting a bulk of that hate was just unnecessary in my opinion. And I feel like, yeah, as pundits, we do have a responsibility that, and that's like what I said before when I interviewed Daniel McGarrigle. When he went and said what he said about Shangela, I was like, and if Shangela want to come on the show and tell her side of the story, she can do that. She ain't do it yet, but she ain't come on but I leave the door open, and I feel like that's what all pundits should do. It's like, I'm sure y'all all know somebody that got somebody's number, and you could have had Acid come on the show and tell her side of the story about this old paper dress. So I know this sounds so ridiculous when you're thinking about it, but this is Drag Race Tea. But I'm just glad that they were able to squash it, work it out. Well, they said what they said on their end. Hopefully the Betties on the next episode of their show will come out and respond to this and give their overall thoughts. And I just hope we can put this to bed. And just like I hope that this whole Willam MIB situation is put to bed, because I don't want to keep talking about that situation anymore. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story about, in regards of Alaska's apology? I hope that was a real sincere apology and not just Alaska doing her Alaska-isms on camera, that she really genuinely meant that, you know what, it was a poor situation. It was a poor judgment that I shouldn't have just responded or just had this platform be what it was, and then we just sat silent as all of this was going down. So in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.